Oh, good morning. Tuesday morning, Southern West Virginia, Twist of World News. John Davis. Yeah, I think they're calling for scattered thunderstorms, but I see some sun on the eastern side of the mountain there, so maybe we'll get sun in a little while. AOC goes down to a facility down there on the southern border, and she's told by one of the immigrants, "Oh, we're putting a room with no one, and water, no this, and that one." And she comes out and she's telling the story. AOC is. She's also one of them that have been told time and time and time and time again they needed help down there to deal with the crisis on the border. But yet, Miss AOC and others refused to send refused to send help. They wanted, it was a crisis they created because they won't fix the laws, the immigration laws. They created this crisis. They fed the crisis by leaving the laws open and welcoming these people in. They created that crisis. You got organizations that have been paying these immigrants to coming up, making their way toward America. AOC and others have refused time and time again to help out with that stuff. His immigration officials and stuff down there have told them. I've just seen one on Fox News. He said, "I've been on here, I forget how many times, 12, 20 sometimes in the last year and a half or so. Year and a half, 6 months, year, I forget the exact numbers." And he said, "I know, I've been on here and told time and time again." But yet, these liberals, these socialists, I wish God would give me the words that I could tell you what He has shown me and what He has told me and what exactly is taking place, what I've seen and heard with my own ears and my own eyes. Facts and evidences that have been uncovered to what's going on. And it's walked right down the line, right parallel with what God has told me and showed me. People, these friggin' socialists are crashing the economy of this nation. They're doing their best to crash. Listen, you're not going to take America unless you break her economy. You're not going to do it. And the only way you can do it, is break her economy. The only way you can break your economy is get enough support that you can bring in the stuff around. There's a thing called Cloward and Piven that says you can overburden the economy of America and pull her down. Okay? You have to break the dollar. Pull her down. Google it. Go on Google, type in Cloward and Piven, and it'll tell you. Listen. These socialists are intentionally trying to crash the economy of this nation. They're intentionally wasting billions upon billions upon billions of dollars. Intentionally, people. They're playing these immigrants as pawns. These friggin' socialists are not hurting. These people are getting rich. They're not hurting. But those people coming up from Guatemala and wherever, coming up from South America. See, I seen something here just a few weeks back, a couple months ago, said there are people coming in from other continents now. It's no longer just South America. They're coming in from other continents. South America is being used as the path, the doorway. These people are being used. Their tears, their sweat, their sicknesses, their dangers, their rapes, their trafficking that they're dealing with. They're being used. The Democratic Party is behind it. Like it or not, they're behind it. They're being used. These liberal socialist medias, they're behind it. I don't care if whether they throw $1 behind it. I don't care if they throw $1 million behind it. If they don't start telling the truth to why things are going on, they are guilty as anybody else. They are as guilty as anybody else. These people are going to have to be dealt with. I'm not talking about the immigrants. The immigrants they're stuck in a situation. They're being used. They're being used. But these liberals and socialists that keep throwing this garbage up in America, they need to be dealt with. Listen, they're no different than this Antifa or whatever in Portland, Oregon. These Democrats, these liberals, these socialists, they're no different. They wear their mask. And when someone conservative opens their mouth, they attack them. Those perverts are no different. They're terrorists. They're domestic terrorists on our shores. They're being protected by our laws. These liberals and socialists are going to have to be dealt with. I've told you before, we cannot move on. We cannot ignore this and just move on through time like nothing's wrong. Only an idiot would think you can just move on. A literal friggin' idiot. You cannot just move on. Justice has got to be sought. Godly, moral boundaries have got to be reestablished, and justice has got to serve its purpose. If you don't, people, the division, the chaos, the anarchy, the lies, the rot, the stink of liberal and socialist thinking will continue. It's got to be dealt with. It has got to be dealt with. It brings up the old Ronald Reagan and the Berkeley professor deal again. Reagan is the governor of California. This Berkeley professor comes to Reagan's office or whatever, and he's spitting out this garbage, and Reagan gets pissed off, man. He says, "You're old enough to know better." Why would a governor have to talk to a friggin' college professor that way? You're old enough to know better. Then Reagan gets up and walks out, man. You're old enough to know better. Telling a college professor, someone telling your kids how to add 2 and 2, and a governor of a state looks him in the eyes and say, "You're old enough to know better." Are you so friggin' dense that you cannot wrap your mind around that? You're old enough to know better. This fella, I don't know how old he was. The best I can recall the video, it looked like he was 40 plus, maybe 50, maybe older. You're old enough to know better. So help me, people. The thinking of these liberals and socialists is so pathetic, so shamefully pathetic. They should not have a voice anywhere in this nation. They should be shut down around the world. They're perverts. They're godless, immoral perverts wanting to push their will, force their will into the hearts and minds of others. Glenn Beck was on Fox News back years ago. He shows a document. It was a document that was supposed to be something from Obama's college years. And what it was, it shows what was Obama's study in. He had looked at it and it was written, Marxism. Marxism. I seen it. He showed it on television. The document. Marxism. Hillary Clinton. She was fired off of a job back during the Nixon 18-minute video or this recording that Nixon was supposed to have been guilty of stealing or whatever. Hillary Clinton was fired during that time. She was the voice working against Nixon and the Republicans, the conservatives of the time. She was fired because of unethical behavior. She was fired. Okay? Another voice. I believe his name was Saul Alinsky. Something. But Hillary Clinton had made a statement. Saul Alinsky was her mentor. Okay? She had told it. He was her mentor. Saul Alinsky was a confessed Marxist. He's a confessed Marxist. Well, what's so bad about Marxist? What's so bad about Marxism? What's so bad about that? Karl Marx was born in 1800s, died in the early 1900s or somewhere through there. He was a drunken socialist. Karl Marx had made this statement: if we can destroy the morals of one generation of Americans, we can take the nation. If we can destroy the morals of one generation of Americans, if we can destroy the morals, if we can piss into their minds enough, if we can corrupt their thinking, if we can crust their conscience, if we can put a crust on their conscience that their conscience no longer functions properly, if we can drive out the decency, if we can disrupt the honor, we can own them. If we can piss into their minds enough, we can own them. That's what's wrong with Marxism, people. Marxism is a friggin' sewer. It's nothing but a godless, immoral intent to destroy your thinking and your conscience. That's all it is. Liberalism is nothing but villainy. Isaiah 32:5-8, Old Testament Bible, they work villainy. They practice hypocrisy. That's what you need to understand. That's what you need to understand. You know, James Comey and Clapper, all these people, they get out here doing these interviews and book viewings and all this stuff going on. What are they doing? They're spreading propaganda. They're building backing. They got themselves in trouble. Clapper was asked, do you spy on American people? Do you garner or do you get information or garner information on American people? No. He was asked again later. Yeah, we gathered information on 20 million Americans. CNN got behind him. Oh, but he done it for the right reasons. What do we know now? We know that Barack Obama and his cohorts, CNN, MSNBC, ABC, CBS, NBC, we know that the FBI, the CIA, the NSA, the IRS, they were spying. They were garnering information. They had set themselves up against the conservative thinker. They were cheating the conservative thinker. They were cheating the moral. They were cheating the honest. They were cheating the godly. They were cheating the decent. They were cheating the upright. They were cheating. Lois Lerner and some others, they filed the fifth. Why? When they were in the IRS, they filed the fifth because their own word was going to put them behind bars, so they filed the fifth. They were lying. They were cheating justice. They were cheating the American people. They were lying. They were fired. Why? They were cheating the honest. They were cheating the decent. They were cheating the respectful. They were cheating the upright. They were cheating the honorable. They were cheating. They were cheating. They were cheating. And the cheating still goes on, people. It's in the words. It's in the words of those two Muslim representatives. It's in the words of this Ocasio or AOC. It's in the words of Pelosi and Schumer. It's in the words of the Democrats. It's in the words of the liberals and socialists that are in the background behind closed doors getting their heads together, figuring out how they can manipulate the system to get their way. They're cheating. They're cheating. Now, let's get around to why it's going on. Why it continues. Why it seems they're not being stopped. Let's get around to that. I've told this and told this and told this. The story has never changed. And it will not change, because what God has told you or showed you, it will not change. When He tells you, it's the way it is. It's settled. It's settled. I didn't have peace with Barack Obama back in 2008. I voted for John McCain. I didn't particularly want to vote for John McCain. I didn't like him. Didn't exactly know why. I just didn't. But now this is the thing. I could not vote for Obama. I didn't know who the man was. I knew nothing about him. But being a Christian, the Spirit of God in me, I didn't have peace with him. Something was wrong. Something was wrong. I didn't know what it was. He was just another face in the crowd to me. He wasn't in office 2 months. I knew what it was. And I'm asking the question, how in this world did a Muslim get in the highest office, the most powerful office in the world? How did he get in a position, and that in a Christian founded country? How did a Muslim get in there? I knew what was wrong. Right off the top, deception had been pulled. Deception had been pulled. And everything in Washington, D.C. knows it. All these freaking news medias know it. But you're the only ignorant one that doesn't realize it, and you keep supporting these people. You're the only ignorant one that doesn't realize it. You keep supporting them people. Barack Obama started his lies. But there was one truth that he did tell. He said that he wants to transform America. And he tried. He tried very hard. Very hard. He failed, but he has still accomplished a thing. He's got perversions to the point that they've been accepted. The lying, the cheating, the scheming, the plotting, the treachery, the treason has been accepted. Millions of people are on board with it now. These lying liberals and scheming socialists, they could drop their paint and spread their diarrhea all over this nation, and they have been. And there's still millions of so-called Americans that would still lick their filthy, smelly butt, even though it is covered with poop. Because they've gotten on board with it. They've accepted it. It's been made legitimate. It's been made legitimate. I was driving an old coal truck here in the sticks of West Virginia hauling coal for a company. I'm going around the hill one day, and the Lord spoke to me. He said, they're crashing your economy. Now, the Lord speaks to you. It's a, he can sort of get your attention. They're crashing your economy. Then my mind for the next few days or weeks, I'm thinking, well, we know what's going. We know economies are being crashed. Ignorance can do it. Treachery can do it. Different things could happen and take place. But the economy's going down. That means we're going to see some hard times. Something is causing it. That means America's going to be facing some really hard times. At that point, that's all I could think. But then, a few weeks later, after he tells me they're crashing your economy, a few weeks later, he speaks to me again. You're being subdued. You're being subdued. Another eye-opener. They're crashing your economy. You're being subdued. So I got a lot to chew on. I'm praying, God. What am I gonna do? See, I think I'd already started my Twist of World News thing. I used to, before I started doing videos, I'd done a lot of typing. I decided to buy me a camera. I could squeeze more in and get a lot more done faster. But buy me a camera, not a video, but a camera. But anyway, I'm doing all this stuff on Facebook, doing typing. But then after the 2012 elections, Christians are praying, God, give us somebody that'll protect the nation, that'll do what's honorable and just for the nation. But Obama got back in office. And we know why and how he done it now. We know there was a lot of voter fraud went on. A lot of it. The Democratic Party has been hiding and supporting voter fraud for a lot of years now. A lot of years. Cheating the American people. Cheating. But now, after Obama had won the but got the office again through the cheating, the fraud, voter fraud stuff, I'm sitting down to read my Bible, and just maybe a couple weeks later, I don't remember how long, but I sit down to read my Bible, and I just pray, God, as I always do, just let me know what you know, God. I don't want to know what people's opinions and ideas and everything else is. Just let me know what you know. You know what the truth is. You know what needs to be and what is actually so. Let me know what you know, God. You're my Heavenly Father. Tell me what you know. But anyway, this particular morning, I sat down to read my Bible. I used to have a bunch of little pieces of paper. I've cleaned it out since then. I don't know where. It's around here somewhere. Over here it is. I've cleaned it out since then. But I had a bunch of little pieces of paper in it. And I would, well, that's something else sticking out right there. But that's not it. That's not it. That's got the ends. But anyway, I had a bunch of these little pieces of paper. So I'd tear off corners off of a Magic Mark paper or one of the wife's magazines, Women's World, or a band or something. I'd tear off a little corner. I'd stick it in for a marker where I've been reading. But anyway, I just opened up a piece of paper. Didn't know where it was opening, just a corner of a piece of paper. I opened it up, and it was Old Testament, Isaiah 32, 5 through 8. Now, I'm running through this stuff. I've told this stuff I don't know how many times. But you know, I'm an old four-eyed ignorant hillbilly. In order for my thinking to be honorable, to be honest, to be upright, to be straight, I have to stay where I know is solid, what I know is factual, what I know is going on. What I know. Because I don't know everything in the world. I know it may surprise some of you, but I don't. I don't. I have to stay where I know is factual. So I tell my story. I tell my side of it. I tell what I know is happening. Because when God tells you or shows you, baby, that's the way it is. Ideas and opinions don't amount to dog piss. Okay? But anyway, Isaiah 32, 5 through 8. And that's the verses I'm getting to. But anyway, I opened up at Isaiah 32, and I started reading verse 1, verse 2, 3, 4. And before I started verse 5, it was like God took his elbow, man. Hey, John, check this out. He actually got my attention. And I started reading. Now, I'm going to go ahead and read this. You need to know, people. You just need to know. That's all there are to it. You just need to know. Verse 5. Now, like I said, I read verse 1, 2, 3, 4. Before it started verse 5, God got my attention. Now, I want you to pay attention now, people. I'm not blowing into the wind. I'm trying to help you. I'm trying to help your family. I'm trying to help your bloodline. I'm trying to help your country. I'm trying to help you. Started verse 5, after God got my attention. The vile person shall no more be called liberal. What? The vile person, this vile, this degraded, this shameful, disgraceful, despicable person will no longer be called liberal. This atrocity to life will no longer be called liberal. All right, now listen. Nor the churl said to be bountiful. The fool has said in his heart, there is no God. That's just a quote from another place in the Bible. Nor the churl said to be bountiful. It's marked churl. It's got a little footnote down there. Fool. Nor the churl said to be bountiful. For the vile person, there's that word vile again. The vile, the liberal, the liberal will no longer be called vile, or the vile will no longer be called liberal. That word vile. For the vile person will speak villainy. Villainy. The vile person will speak villainy, and his heart will work iniquity. Cheating, plotting, scheming in the heart. Plotting. Manipulative thoughts taking place in his heart. Intentions. For the vile person will speak villainy, his heart will work iniquity, to practice hypocrisy. So he's willfully speaking words of deception, villainy, cheating, manipulative words. He's willfully speaking this stuff, and in his heart to work iniquity. He's willfully conceiving things in his heart to do wrong, to cheat others, to manipulate others, to practice hypocrisy. He's actually willingly doing this with everything that is within him. He's put his heart, his mind, his soul into cheating. Cheating. Okay? To practice hypocrisy and to utter error against the Lord, even speaking out words in slander toward the very person, the very soul that upholds truth and honor and justice and liberty, that upholds righteousness and wholeness, speaking out against the very source worthy of respect and honor. He utters error. He speaks rot against truth. He speaks rot against honor. He speaks rot against decency. He speaks rot against righteousness. He speaks rot against wholeness. Okay? To utter error against the Lord and make empty the soul of the hungry. Speaks utter error against the Lord and make empty the soul of the hungry. If we can destroy the morals of one generation of Americans, we can take if we can destroy the morals, if we can cheat the soul, if we can cheat the conscience of actual truth and honor. To make empty the soul of the hungry, and he will cause the drink of the thirsty to fail. Oh, wow. Puts a whole new light on what liberal is, doesn't it? Yeah. Puts a whole new light on the butt you've been licking. Yeah. Puts a whole new light on what these people are, doesn't it? To make empty the soul of the hungry, and he will cause the drink of the thirsty to fail. He will make those that hunger for decent, for the truth and the actual upright essence of life, for the hope of life, for justice, for anything that is of godly, moral uprightness, for purity. He will actually cheat those that are hungry for good. He will cheat them out of that good. He'll cheat them out of the good. Who does? The vile person shall no more be called liberal, nor the churl said to be bountiful. I'm going to tell you something else. Now listen. And he will cause the drink of the thirsty to fail. Verse 7. The instruments also of the churl are evil. The instruments of the fool are evil. Are you listening? The instruments of the fool are evil. He deviseth wicked devices to destroy the poor with lying words. The instruments of the fool, the instruments of the churl, churl. The instruments of the churl are evil. He deviseth wicked devices to destroy the poor with lying words, even when the needy speaketh right. Even when those that are in need speaketh right. Doesn't that sound like socialism to you? I mean, all the accounts and stuff that I have of socialism in the past. Well, let's look back at old England. We've seen Hollywood movies. We've seen this. We've seen that. We've seen different things. We've seen movies about Germany and Russia and all this other stuff. But we've all seen news broadcasts. We've seen all this stuff. But we get this picture of socialism as an overbearing, a cruel, overbearing dictatorship that's been forced upon those that cannot defend themselves, that cannot help themselves, but except they surrender or submit until that overbearing force, they go hungry. Doesn't that sound like so? Listen. The instruments also of the churl are full. See, the communists say there's no God. They're atheists in their thinking. There is no God, okay? The instruments of the churl are evil. He deviseth wicked devices to destroy the poor with lying words. With lying words, he does things. He willingly lies and cheats the poor out of the things that they need. Okay? The instruments also of the churl are evil. He deviseth wicked devices to destroy the poor with lying words, even when the needy speaketh right. Even when the needy knows that he's doing what he knows to do that is good and upright, to not be of the same thinking of the overbearing dictator, that even when the needy knows he's trying to do what is right. He's not trying to cheat and steal and lie and corrupt. He's trying to do what is right, to see to his needs. To destroy the poor with lying words, even when the needy speaketh right. And it talks about this churl. Now there's a little footnote down here for the churl. Greedy one. Greedy one. Yeah. All right. But the liberal deviseth liberal things, and by liberal things shall he stand. The liberal deviseth things that will garner him support. He will do things that will win the favor and support of those that are just as corrupt and godless and immoral as he is, or she. They support one another. This circle of evil support. This circle of support. This circle of divisive, scheming, plotting, thinking. This circle of support. But the liberal deviseth liberal things, and by liberal things shall he stand. See, I have to stay. I have to stay what I know is factual, what I know God has told me. If I stray from what I know He's told me, then I could be just as stupid or as vile as anybody else. I have to stay where I know God has shown me or told me what's going on. All right. Now, I just read those 4 verses, 5 through 8, Isaiah 32. I read those, and you wonder how the vile no longer would be called liberal. Why that degraded, shameful garbage would no longer be tagged as liberal. This is the part I was telling you I was going to get to. Remember I telling you about Clapper and Comey and others. Jim Acosta tried it, but see, the tables have been turned so far that Acosta, he's already been recognized as a pervert, and people don't want to know him. He's busted. What were they doing? They were doing pep rallies. They go out and have book signings, and they do all this, they do that, they do that. They get people to support them. They sow propaganda. They have their pep rallies. They're garnering support, trying to keep justice from catching up with them. See, if justice gets up with them, they're going to get jab slapped. They don't want justice to catch up with them. So they garner more support. They know they know as it stands, they've had a bad day. They know it. They know it. Justice is nipping at their heels. They know it. They know it. So what are they doing? They're still sowing the propaganda. Remember Obama said, I'm not running for office, but my policies are still on the table? You remember that? He said it. What was he saying? Hey, I've got people out there that's pushing what I'm doing. Oh yeah, I've got people in place, and guess what? Those people they've been sought out, little by little. They've been sought out. The spies, the leakers, little by little they're being sought out. Oh, the big poop's still to hit the fan, son. The big poop's still to hit the fan. See, these people are being uncovered. A.G. Barr and his pit bull, what's his name? I forget his name. The man he got in investigating all this stuff around the Clinton emails and that stuff. The big poop's getting ready to hit the fan yet. And it's being uncovered. But see, now this is what I'm getting at. Now listen to me. How would the liberal get to the point? All this garbage that's going on inside of them, all this villainy going on, all this corruption within them. What would happen that would get them to the point they would no longer be called a liberal? That their garbage would no longer be towed as garbage. Remember verse 8? How the liberal, he deviseth liberal things, and by liberal things he stands. This circle, garnering support, propaganding the wicked thinker to support them, propaganding the fool to support them, propaganding people that do not know the truth to support them. They fill them with their rot so they get their support, and their circle continues. Their circle continues. All right. People that don't know truth and honor, they support them. I'm sitting on my side porch. It's been a little while back. I'm just enjoying my breakfast one morning, man. We got the side porch out there, it's screened in, it keeps 98% of the bugs off of us. But I'm sitting there. I'm out there by myself. I'm not even thinking about this, man. I got a peaceful morning going. I'm enjoying my breakfast, man. Just shoveling it in. Shoveling it in. Enjoying my breakfast. And here in the midst of my peaceful breakfast, the Lord speaks one word to me. Legitimacy. And like I said, when the Lord knows how to be an attention getter, man. I'll tell you what. Legitimacy. So needless to say, my peaceful morning just picked up a note of interruption. And I start chewing on this word. But what it was, He was confirming. He was confirming what He had shown me in Isaiah 32:8. The word says, let every word be established by 2 or 3 witnesses. He had shown me Isaiah 32:5-8. But now He's supporting Isaiah 32:5-8 with a word. John, this is why it's going on. This is how the liberal garners support. This is the way they work. Legitimacy. The lying, the cheating, the stealing, the robbery, the raping, the murdering. the perversions of the left, the perversions of the liberal, the perversions of the socialist, the perversions, the corruption, the shame had garnered support. They had been given legitimacy right in the midst of their crime and shame. People had begun to accept them for what they are because they would they would garner support from each other. Transgenders, gays, socialism, illegal immigrations, all this stuff. Warring against justice, warring against freedom, warring against chewing away at the very fabric of a godly, moral, founded nation. Chewing away at the very fabric, at the foundation of a just, honorable system of government. Chewing away at the very things that made this nation what it is. Chewing away at the dream of people around the world. Oh, I'd love to go to America. A man can work and he can have his life, man. He can do well in America. Chewing away at the very fabric, at the very hope, at the very dream. Legitimacy. The rot of the liberal, the rot of the socialist, the rot of the agnostic and the atheist, the rot of the drunk and the drug addict, the rot of every damnable thought that goes through people's mind that drags them through the mud, drags them through the friggin' sewer that Satan has laid out in front of them. It drags their mind through it. He drags their heart through it. He drags their hope through it. He drags everything about them through that friggin' sewer. But yet they were given legitimacy. Look at people today. People will do things knowing good and well it's going to kick their teeth out. You ever seen such ignorance in your life? Knowing good and well that things that they're doing is killing other people, right? Killing family members and everything right around them. Friends, neighbors, dying, diseases, every damnable thing you can imagine going on. And yet they continue in that. You ever seen such ignorance? Have you ever seen such stupidity? I mean, we're all guilty of some kind of ignorance or stupidity. We've all done our part. The writer in the New Testament talked about it. He said we've all had done our part in the world of the past, in our thinking, in our lives. But look at it. Knowing good and well it's going to take them out, man. Knowing good and well it's going to kick their friggin' butt. Legitimacy. The rot, the lying, the cheating, the scheming, the treachery, the treason, the raping, the murdering, the human trafficking, child trafficking, all this stuff has been given legitimacy. The liberal attitude has fed legitimacy to the shame and the pain of these actions. The liberal attitude has given legitimacy to the cruelty and hardness of socialism that wants to come to life. The rot of these people's minds and their hearts has been given legitimacy. Wow. 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 You accepted their diarrhea on you. You accepted it. You accepted it. You accepted it. Boy, ain't that something to wake up to on a Tuesday morning. Whew. Wow. Drawing blood on your earlobe already, man. But see, I know I'm speaking truth to you. I know I'm speaking to you what I know I've received of God. I'm hoping you find a place that you say, well, I can't go, I can't do this no more. That's what I'm hoping. But that's between you and God whether you're going to do what's right or what's wrong, you know. That's between you and God. But see, this is the problem. If you continue your course and you get to the point that you think you're going to stick your perversive ideas and your thinking in my face, the poop's going to hit the fan. You can be a pervert all you want, but you better keep it out of my face. You chose that. You willfully set yourself at odds with honor. You set yourself at odds with truth. You set yourself at odds against justice, against that truth, against the honor. You set yourself at odds against a safe life. Yeah. You're going to have to make up your mind. You're going to have to make up your mind who you are, what you are. You've got to quit letting ignorance of liberal college professors tell you what the word honor means. You're going to have to quit letting the ignorance of a liberal college professor tell you what truth means. You're going to have to quit letting perversions define justice. Tuesday morning. Looks pretty. They're talking rain. I wouldn't mind some rain. I could use a little bit of rain. You know, I take. They're talking scattered thunderstorms for a week. I don't particularly want rain every day for a week. No, not hardly. But I could use a little bit. My garden likes rainwater. I ain't got much of a garden. Just stuff that's scattered out in the yard around the fences and stuff. But we could use a little bit. Have a good one.